Peace and love, family, and welcome back to another Sunday Hope and Healing session. I'm Royce Fletcher Thompson, and we are here today to bring encouragement, but more importantly, to bring some actual healing. We're going to be doing that through a methodology referred to as Transcending the Matrix. Oh boy. Okay. I don't know if you can hear my voice at all at this juncture, but we're broadcasting from Brooklyn, New York. Just you can see Prospect Park behind me, and it appears that we'll have some very loud trains passing by, even though we'll get through it. Anyway, again, very happy to be back in New York. You can see the wonderful Prospect Park behind me. And from time to time, there will probably be trains running behind me that you'll be able to hear. But that isn't going to stop the healing that's going to happen, just like the technical difficulties that we're dealing with trying to set up for today's Sunday Hope and Healing session will not stop the healing from going forth. So today's healing, Sunday Hope and Healing session is going to be all about healing to open up doors of opportunity. And so I want to encourage you to think about some area or areas in your life where you'd like to see some doors of opportunity open for you. It may be that you want to see some doors of opportunity open for you in terms of your professional life. It could be that you want to see some doors of opportunity open for you in terms of um, social opportunities or networking. It could be that you'd like to see some doors of opportunity open for you as it relates to relationships, as it relates to love, as it relates to any area of your life that you would like to see some doors of opportunity open for you. That's what the focus of our healing session is going to be today. Again, less about the talking, more about the healing. If you have anyone in your heart that you care about, there's going to be a point where we're going to do a prayer, and that's when we're going to be setting our intention for the healing. If you would also just silently or out loud say that person's name as well as your own, and there will be a point where I'm speaking to in the prayer, uh, opening up doors of opportunity. I want to encourage you to just kind of plug in there where you would like to see some doors of opportunity specifically open for you. Okay. All right. And so we're going to go ahead, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this healing session. All right. So I want to invite you to just take a moment and breathe love into your heart, the light of God's love into your heart. And on the exhalation, exhale the light of God's love from your heart. Breathing in the light of God's love, breathing out the light of God's love, so that love is all that you're breathing in and all that you're breathing out. Okay. And even as you breathe in the light of God's love, and on the exhalation, allow that love to expand within you, inside of you, reaching your lungs and all of the organs of your body, all of your muscle tissues, your blood vessels, all of the nerves in your body. May it ooze through your pores to the point where this light of God's love is completely encapsulated every cell of your body, and even begins to extend beyond you. And from this place of love, loving yourself enough to be open to this healing, will we start our prayer and this healing. And God, I know you to be a healer. And through the union that we share through the power of your pure love, I'm thankful for the opportunity to participate in the demonstration of you as a healer, for the purpose of leading us out of whatever wrong doors we've been operating in, and closing those doors. Whatever doors are not right for us, closing those doors. But then opening wide and leading us through the right doors for us. And so even calling forth this healing on behalf of, state your name or someone that you care about's name. For this very purpose that we've so designated, and opening up and leading us through the right doors, and may we each silently or out loud state what doors we would like to see open in our lives, and what we'd like to experience ourselves as having walked through in our lives. And I bear witness with from a state of deep gratitude and just awe of your goodness and miracle working power, for the new doors of opportunity that you have opened up for us and led us through, for the great sense of fulfillment that we have in these new opportunities that we've been blessed to step into and to walk in. And I bear witness to our wholeness on this date and in this time and space called now. Thank you. Thank you, God, for this gift of your divine love. It is done. It is done. It is done. Okay. All right. So let's get into the actual healing now. And first thing I want to address is some of the areas where we're not necessarily in alignment with what those right doors for us would be. And so I want to deal first and foremost with whatever level of inner toxicity we might be having going on. All right. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to invite you to do so too, to invite the light of God's love into whatever area of your life, emotionally, environmentally, and physically, that has served as a form of toxicity for you. Okay. We want to be in a state of resonance, be congruent with the blessing that we're wanting to step into and walk in. Okay. And so let's clear out some of those cobwebs of negativity, that are needing to be cleared out for us to be able to truly dwell in the space where we really want to be. All right. And so I'm going to ask you to think about an area of your life, if you can admit to yourself, where there may be some level of toxicity going on within you. And I'm going to ask you to welcome in the light of God's love into that place in your life. It could be an attitude that you have about something. It could be a belief system that you have about something. It could be something from the past that you're holding on to. It could be a desire for pain or suffering to happen to someone else. All of these things are examples or forms of toxicity. We want to invite the light of God's love into the place within you where you're holding those things. The place within your body, the place within your heart, the place within your mind, and the places within your auric field where you're holding those things. We want to clear that all out. Wash that away with the light of God's love, bringing something much more pleasant, much more beautiful. All right. All right. And so now I want to address, specifically, I want to address toxicity that comes um, from a biological standpoint, where you may have ingested some forms of toxicity from artificial additives to the food. We want to clear that out. Clearing out some of those artificial food additives. Um, Red dye, specifically, want to clear that out. Okay. Breaking it down into quantum particles, clearing it through the lymphatic system. Okay. All right. Want to look at pesticides and herbicides that may be in the produce that you may be eating, as well as ingested by the animals that you may be eating. I want to clear that out. We want to address growth hormones within the meat, that have been placed within the meat, or the animals that become the meat that you may eat. I'm just going to have a little sip of water here. That's good. Okay. Pardon me. Want to also address emotional trauma for the animals that you may be eating. In days gone by, you know, when folk went out to hunt, when we were in our hunter-gatherer days, when folk would go out and hunt, they had a certain respect for the animal that they were killing. They would say a prayer before they would go out hunting. They would honor the animal that was giving up its life so that they could continue theirs. Whereas now it's, you know, it's a little bit different, quite a bit different. And there may be high levels of stress that, whether it's the chicken or the cow or the goat or whatever other animal might be going through in its preparation of dying, where it's being infused, you know, a lot of adrenaline and cortisol are being infused into the system. And we wonder why we have high rates of anxiety now. We're taking in, or we're ingesting, those of us who eat meat, or those of you who eat meat, are ingesting some of those things sometimes. So we want to clear that out of our system. We want to neutralize that those negative emotional states that we're actually potentially taking in as we ingest the food. Okay. All right. I want to look also at the growth hormones that may be infused in the animals or even in the plants to make them grow quicker. Um, okay. So that we're able to take in the nutrition without actually taking in these negative additives. Also, want to plant within the collective consciousness of humanity um, a sense of mindfulness in terms of well-being, okay, and a holy respect for that which allowed itself to reach the end stage of where it was on its life path, and then become united with us and our bodies to allow our lives in this physical realm to continue. So that there is actually something really sacred about that. So I'm going to strengthen us to be able to, us individually, as well as kind of in the collective consciousness of humanity, as at least as it relates to us, as we participate with um, the life forms that we are ingesting, um, and that we get to continue the flow of our life as a function of their sacrifice. Okay. And so having a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation, want to strengthen us for that. Okay. Want to also address heavy metals like cadmium, zinc, nickel. I don't know if it would be considered a heavy metal or not, but aluminum can serve as a toxin. There's too much of that in our system. And certainly mercury. Clear that from our system. Again, breaking it down into quantum particles, transmuting it into photons of light. Okay. And want to look at lead as well. Okay. Clearing that from our system. All right, now let's look also at toxicity from medications, whether those are recreational, whether they're recreational, over the counter, or prescription. Okay, seems to be a bigger issue in terms of what we're working on today, dealing with the recreational and the prescription. So let's clear that, so any negative effects of those things are deleted from our bodies, from our minds, from our existence. Be able to take in whatever healthful benefits there are, but without the negative. Okay. All righty. I've got a bee friend who's wanting to come hang out for a while, I guess. Okay, so let's look at. Okay, I think we can move on from the toxicity aspect now. So now let's move into the area more so dealing with specifically the opening of doors. So I want to actually strengthen our ability to see ourselves in the new and improved version of our lives. And where you are now, you may be good with where you are now. You may just want an upgrade. So whatever area in your life you're wanting to experience new doors of opportunity opening for you. Again, the intention is set for this healing to hit you in that way, or to reach you in that way. Realizing that it may be different, something different for everyone. So I want to strengthen us to actually fine-tune our imagination. Neville Goddard described the activity of God as manifesting through our own wonderful human imagination. The scriptures tell us that we're made in the image and likeness of God. And we actually have the power to call forth into our life what it is that we are envisioning in our lives, what it is that we allow ourselves to get mentally and emotionally tapped into. Okay. And so, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, we use our imagination haphazardly and unintentionally. And we ended up, based on the things that we fear, based on the things that we don't want to happen, we're putting energy in that direction, because energy follows consciousness. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And so these are the areas where we sow seeds of consciousness in terms of what it is that will be called forth in our lives. Okay. But something my grandfather, John A. Hall, used to say, my late grandfather, John A. Hall, used to say, is that you can't plant tomatoes and expect to grow corn. You reap whatever the fruit of whatever the seeds are that you're sowing. And so we want to, let me actually address the areas where we might be subconsciously creating that which we don't, um, that we don't really want, but it's where our imagination just goes, maybe based on past experiences. So let's address negative experiences of the past that have been unresolved and replace our kind of default setting towards negative experiences of the past to bright and wonderful possible future. My beloved took me as a birthday celebration, as part of birthday celebration this past Friday to see the Broadway production of MJ. um, and, uh, you know, based on Michael Jackson. And some of you may know that, and I think it was 1978, somewhere around there, Michael Jackson was in a movie. It was a musical called The Wiz, which is it's like The Wizard of Oz with seasoning on it. It's the soulful version of The Wizard of Oz. And Michael Jackson was in this playing the Scarecrow. And they actually sang a song from The Wiz in this production. But there was another song that I actually learned on the plane on the way here to New York. There's a song that I really liked from The Wiz. It was after the Wicked Witch Eveline was defeated. And these folks took off the ugliness, and it was a beautiful thing. And the name of the song is Brand New Day. Can you see a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? I learned on the flight on the way here that Luther Vandross actually wrote that song. I did not know that prior to that. But anyway, I say all that to say, really awakening us to the possibility, the hope, the expectation, and the reality of a brand new day where we feel lighter, where we feel elevated, where we feel free. That free was a big one. Let's boost us up in terms of that feeling free, that truly feeling free. I did a healing on myself yesterday morning in terms of the feeling freer. Okay. And so there may be some areas where we're locked up in our lives. And so let's actually receive the key from God to all of the locks that are hindering us, all the areas where we may be imprisoned in our lives, or where we may be locked in to something that is less than us, or less than who we are divinely designed to be, and how we are divinely designed to experience life in abundance and joy and well-being and fulfillment. Okay, so let's strengthen us to all right, so let me address, this is coming up, fear of being naked, which is like fear of being exposed or fear of being vulnerable. Okay, so I want to address that, so that fear of being naked, fear of being seen. So many things we do to try to be seen, but at the same time, in other areas, we have a fear of being seen. We have a fear of being seen for the areas where we fall short mainly. All right, or where we think we'll fall short, or where we think that others might perceive that we're falling short. Okay, so let's address that fear. Invite the light of God's love to the places where we're holding that fear. A lot of times based on things that we've maybe experienced in the past, or things that we've observed other people experiencing. All right, and we want to actually replace that with something that Howard Thurman said: to find an ultimate security and an ultimate vulnerability. He said that to find an ultimate security and an ultimate vulnerability. This is to be loved. I know I say a lot on these Sunday Hope and Healing sessions because it is true that you are so loved. Do you have any idea how loved you are? Oh my gosh. So let's actually allow ourselves to be touched, deeply touched by the heart of God. Sometimes we think that God wants to punish us. God isn't seeking to punish us. God is seeking to set us free. God is seeking to set us free. A lot of times we punish ourselves through the guilt and the shame that we feel because of areas where we may have fallen short. But God isn't seeking to hem us up. God is seeking to bestow us with the blessing of experiencing what it truly is to be in a state of divine alignment with that which serves our highest and best good. And so I want to infuse that within our consciousness. I want to infuse that reality within the limbic system within our brains so that we can actually get emotionally involved in that reality. The limbic system is largely tied to emotions and memory. And emotional memories go a lot deeper, last a lot longer than fact-based memories. Okay? So we want to actually program that limbic system with the awareness of the presence of God's deep and abiding love for us. We have this idea that we should be afraid of God. Instead, we should be in awe of the magnificence of God. As I sit here on top of this building, on the roof of this building, and I'm looking over, I'm specifically in Brooklyn right now, and I'm looking over and I'm seeing all these buildings. There are millions of people here, millions of people. And behind me, there's this wonderful Prospect Park here, and I look over and I see a bridge. I don't know if this bridge behind me, I don't know if you can see it. My head's in the way. I don't know if you're able to see. No, I don't think you can see it from the camera angle. I don't know if that's going to Manhattan or if it's going to the Bronx or where it's going to, but this is just a small little piece of earth, right? I look up in the sky and my mind dwells in a state of amazement. Right in front of me, there are a bunch of really pretty flowers. I wish you can see them. I don't know if I can change the camera angle for you to be able to see. I don't think that I can. But right in front of me, there's some really pretty flowers, and there are a bunch of bumblebees over there. The bumblebees didn't bother me, but there are a bunch of bumblebees over there. And I'm thinking about how these bumblebees are on these flowers, and they go from one flower to another, spreading pollen. And in their spreading of pollen, they're spreading life. This is part of a beautiful, brilliant, divine design that my mind could not begin to imagine. There is so much to be in awe of. So let me strengthen us to the wonderment of possibilities that extend beyond what we've been able to previously imagine. The truth of the matter is that God is able to bless you beyond what you can think or imagine. And so I want to strengthen us to be able to expand our imagination to include greater levels of joy, bliss, fulfillment in whatever area you're wanting an open door to manifest in your life and that you're wanting to walk through. And then even beyond that, to be able to dwell in a state of awe of how you ended up being blessed beyond your wildest imagination. Mm. I'll let that breathe for a minute as I have a little bit of water. Strengthen us to all be able to dwell in a state of awe and gratitude about how good it became beyond what our thought process was even able to take us to. And to be able to dwell in a state of deep, deep, deep appreciation and bliss. So as far as that's concerned, I want to strengthen our bliss consciousness. Mm. Mm. Yeah, let that get infused in all of our cells and all of our veins and arteries and capillaries and even getting our bone marrow. Ah. Let our auric field be infused with a sense of awe and wonderment. To where we're able to actually almost be like little children in terms of our ability to be fascinated by that which is worthy of being fascinated by. Okay. I mentioned the bumblebees over there. Scientists say that it should be impossible for bumblebees to be able to fly, and yet they do. There's so much that we can't figure out. We can't figure out so many different things, right? We couldn't figure out how there are an abundance of things that we can't figure out. But we don't have to be able to figure it out to experience God working it out. Mm. Songwriter said, even while you're trying to figure it out, God's already worked it out. All right. And by the way, much love. Can you see my heart? Much love to everybody who's out there with us, Curly Conscious K. Everybody who's out there today, please forgive me. Because I'm broadcasting from my phone, I can't see any of the comments today. Next, this is my third Sunday on the road that I've been out of town. But next weekend, I do expect to be to be back at home, and I should be able to see your comments then. Please forgive me for not being able to acknowledge your comments today or post them, but we will be getting back to that next week. Okay. All right. All right. Now, something that's coming up is us all being blessed with new shoes. There was a group back in, I want to say in the 90s, maybe the 80s, 90s, called New Shoes. That's not the new shoes I'm talking about. There's actually an old gospel song. It says, I got shoes, you got shoes. When I get to heaven, I'm going to put on my shoes and walk all over God's heaven. Well, we talk about this endeavor to enter into a sustainable state of supreme satisfaction, which is the same thing that many people would call heaven. And I'm talking about being able to have a heavenly experience even while we're in the earth realm, that we don't have to wait until the body leaves its last breath to dwell in a state of bliss and in a sustainable state of supreme satisfaction. And so let's actually open up the door for all of us to be blessed with some new shoes. Some new shoes where we can walk in a new way, or we feel good about the pathway that we're walking in and the door that we've stepped through. And we can strut our stuff in a way that isn't necessarily boastful or arrogant or prideful, but in a way where we really feel good about ourselves. And so I'm not talking about physical shoes per se, but just in terms of the air about us, the attitude that we have, the internal attitude that we have, and how that's projected outwardly in terms of us clearly dwelling in a state of blessedness, feeling really, really, really good about our lives and this place that we're in. Okay. And where others are able to actually see that, pick up on that, appreciate it, and maybe want to get a little bit of what we got going on too. Okay. So we're able to actually serve as an inspiration for others because of the likeness with which we walk. Okay. Because of the likeness with which we walk. And because of the confidence with which we walk. In other words, the lightness and confidence in which we move in the world as spiritual beings, still being able to fully enjoy all of what life on planet Earth brings and makes available. Okay. So to be able to be fully and wholly self-expressed in areas where we're able to actually value ourselves and actually be valued by others and experience ourselves as being valued by others. Okay. And that may manifest again in terms of your professional life. It may manifest in terms of your creative endeavors. It may manifest in terms of relationships. Okay. Or any other area, whatever area you want to walk through that open door. Okay. All righty. Okay, we're going to shut this down shortly, but we're going to do a few more corrections before we do. All right. And so, as always, something that's coming up, or is frequently the case, something that's coming up is worthiness. So we want to delete the root cause of all feelings of unworthiness. Of unworthiness from things that we've been told about ourselves in the past, experiences that we've had in the past, and just negative belief systems we've had about ourselves in the past. We want to delete those from the point of the root cause. We want to transmute them into and replace them with actually in connection with this profound love of God, our innate worthiness. Not entitlement, but worthiness. We're not entitled because we're special, because there's something special about us that's different than or more special than somebody else. You know, where we deserve something more than somebody else deserves it. That's a sense of entitlement. We're not called to be entitled. We're called to be worthy. Worthy is the recognition, the awareness, the understanding of the fact that you are worthy because you exist. You are worthy because you are made in the image and likeness of God. And as an offspring of God, deeply loved by God, you are worthy of the bountiful, bright blessings that God intends for you. And whatever good you can imagine in your life, I guarantee you, what God intends for you is so much more. Okay. All right. So let's look at, let's address limitations. Limitations that we have on our mind, limitations that we have on our expectations of what good can unfold for us. Okay. Limitations in terms of whatever our capacity to receive might be. All right. All right. So let's allow ourselves to have emptied out from our cup all of the things that aren't any good for us, all of the dirt, the grime, the debris, uh, the negative thought forms that we might be harboring, the trauma, all of that that isn't worthy of us. Let's have all of that emptied out from our cup and allow God to fill our cups up to the point of running over. Now, they say if you've got a bottle, like I drink kombucha, I prefer to drink it out of a glass bottle. And so the way to get the bottle clean isn't really to put some soap and water in the bottle, put the top on and shake it up. That's just going to create a lot of bubbles and you're not going to get a lot of activity going on. But putting a little bit of water, a little bit of soap in the bottle and then just putting it under the faucet and letting the water run is going to fill that bottle up, and it'll start spewing over. It'll start running over. And that's what actually cleans the inside of that vessel. Okay. And let's make the same thing available for us to actually allow this living water to pour through us in a way that washes out all of the debris, all of the dirt, all of the grime, all of the stuff, all of the toxicity, all of the stuff that is not serving us or our highest and best good. And to be continually, even as water is pouring out, this living water is pouring out of us, that is continually filling us up. Okay, so there's never a point where we're not full of this life-giving energy, this joy, this bliss, this peace, and all of these abundant blessings, such that our cup is running over and spills over on everybody we come in contact with, and a drop of heaven is left behind wherever we go. All right. All right. Now, on that note, let's close this out in prayer. God, thank you so much for the healing that's happened today. Thank you, God, for opening the right doors for us and leading us through those doors. Thank you for bringing the right people into our lives and to strengthening those connections that serve our highest and best good and the highest and best good of everybody involved. Thank you for your infusion of light. Thank you for your infusion of love. Thank you for leading us. Thank you for leading us towards our highest and best life, which may or may not be what is seen in the eyes of the world, but what is our highest and best life in terms of what brings us the greatest degree of fulfillment and joy and freedom and well-being. God, thank you so much for these blessings. And may we, in our coming and going and our interacting in the world, may we be a wonderful inspiration to those who observe us, some of whom we might not even recognize are watching us. But may we serve as a wonderful inspiration for us, because of the light that shines on us, the light that shines in us, and the light that shines through us brings a little more light into their lives and wants them to have that activated within them as well. Thank you so much for these and all other blessings. Ashe and amen. All right, beloved. It's been wonderful being here with you today as we've been addressing this healing to open doors of opportunity. We're here every Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, at least for right now. And we'll continue doing this as long as I'm feeling led to do so. If you feel like somebody in your life could use this, would be blessed by it, please pass it on and share with them why you're sending it to them. So they'll understand why it is that you are sending this to them. Okay. What it is that you want to unfold for them in their lives. Okay. If you're already subscribed to the YouTube channel, wonderful. If you're not, you can find us at Matrix Healing, one word, on YouTube, where you can find content such as this. Everything that we're putting on the channel is something positive, something that's designed to help lighten your load in life, to be encouraging for you, and to bring some level of healing, some level of goodness into your life. All right. Anyway, God bless you all. And as we continue to endeavor to enter into this sustainable state of supreme satisfaction, until we meet again, I bid you adieu with peace and love. Catch you next time.